Good morning and welcome to our Christmas service. And this will be our last online service for the year. And I just want to take the time to thank those that have sent words of encouragement and just help keep me on track as we've worked through this time of lockdown. And I appreciate that and thank you. And I particularly want to thank those that have caught something of the vision of what we're trying to do at St. Aidan's and have supported it and encouraged it and been a part of it. I want to thank you for that. And despite what we've been through this year, it's just been very encouraging and to be part of such a supportive group and um, to have that sense of excitement and anticipation as we go into a new year. Um, so thank you. And I just thought let's go to the word of the psalmist. Where morning dawns, where evening fades, you call forth songs of joy. So let's join together and worship God.
O holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Saviour's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices all night, divine, all night, when Christ was born. All night, divine, all night divine. Truly He taught us to love one another. His law is love and His gospel is peace. Chains shall He break, for the slave is our brother, and in His name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise His holy name. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices all night, divine, all night, when Christ was born.
I just want to read a few verses from John chapter 1. I won't read right through, just some select verses. Talking of Jesus, John 1:4. In him was life, and that life was light to all humankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. This is a favorite verse of mine. It says, the darkness has not overcome it. And an alternate translation, because both meanings are caught up in the original Greek word, is that the darkness has not understood it. In other words, the ways of God don't make any sense to the forces of darkness. They can't work them out. And it's a really, really good word to hold on to, that no matter what is thrown at us, no matter what when the world is its worst, darkness cannot overcome light. It doesn't understand it, and it doesn't overcome it. And it means that when the worst is upon us, that's not the last word. It means that goodness triumphs over evil. It means that mercy triumphs over judgment. And it means that God wins. And if God wins, we win. So it's just always important to remember that light overcomes darkness. Now, the next bit I want to just read down, and in a way, this verse is a bit tragic. Talking to Jesus, he came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. And there's something very, very sad about that, and there's something in the heart of God there, just longing for his people to respond, all the people of his creation. He says, yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision, or a husband's will, but born of God. And that scripture is just making it clear to us that this is the grace of God, the gift of God to us. We can respond to it, but it's all given. It's God's work, and it's God's choice of you, and it's God's choice of me. And the good news is that God has chosen. And then I want to read down in verse 14. The Word became flesh, speaking of Jesus, the Word. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. Now, making his dwelling among us, that word is like, in the old language, tabernacle or tent. And it's like saying that Jesus set his tent up in our backyard, in our own neighborhood. He came right to us, right where we are. And it says, we have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. Now, it's interesting, the connection of glory to grace and truth. And I want to read verse 17. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. And I was pondering on that, and I know that some people have set truth over here and say the truth is, and maybe look at Romans Road or something like that, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. The wages of sin are death. And so they see that as the ultimate truth. And it's truth there, but there's a greater truth that's been spoken. And I was pondering this and the idea of what does it mean for truth and grace to come together as they do in Jesus. Now, we can say something and mean something else. We can say something but do something else. But with Jesus, or with God, what God says is actually the essence of who God is. And so where grace and truth are in the one person of Jesus Christ, who is in the image of God, we know that there's no contradiction between the grace of God and the truth of God. In fact, the ultimate truth is that God is a God of grace. God chooses mercy, compassion, long-suffering, endurance, a God who never gives up. And in fact, that is what the meaning of the glory of God is, because it says of Jesus that we beheld his glory, the glory of as the one and only Son. In other words, we saw what God was like when we saw Jesus. So the way that Jesus was is the way that God is. So the truth is that God reveals his glory by the way he acts and behaves perhaps not the right word to use, but the way that God interacts with his creation, and particularly how he interacts with us as human beings. So that is the ultimate truth, that God shows himself in mercy, in compassion, in forgiveness, and in healing. And that is good news. That is good news for us. And there's no contradiction between truth and grace. And as somebody has once said, love wins through. The love of God will win through for all of us. So as we come into this Christmas season, my hope is that you will have moments, have times when you can just sit aside and just ponder this wonderful thing that God has done for us, not just as an action, but that comes out of the heart of God, of how God feels towards his creation and towards his people. And we've tasted of it, and it is good. So I wish to bless you all, and hope that you have a wonderful Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. Bless you all.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let all their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness.